And I think we might have Carl this time. Carl, give me a test there, please.
Check, Jeremy.
Yeah, we're good to go now.
Right, well, welcome, race fans, to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, we got the Virtual Velocity Racing ARCA Series, and we are at the old Atlanta here, the old, you want to call it beat up, whatever you want to call it. To me, this thing is going to put on some good racing regardless. Doesn't matter if it's got fresh pave or if it's this old beaten up version. I think the old beaten up version is going to have a little bit more character, and it's going to have a little bit more grit, and maybe a little bit more cars getting caught up in some incidents here tonight. But we've got another big, strong field here for VVR. A lot of cars out here ready to take to the field, and they're taking to practice right now. But we've had a good first couple weeks of the season. This is race number 4 now for the ARCA series, and we had a couple weeks ago was our last race that was out there in Las Vegas, where Robert Warrens not only got the win, but it was enough to get him to the top of the point standings, as well as he leads by a huge margin, 1 point over DJ Mitchell after the first 3 races. Dalton Kilbrough is another 6 points back, and then another 1 point back is Derek Paulson. That is your top 4. Robert Kahn rounding out actually technically Robert Kahn and Andrew Pleshy tied for 5th in the point standings heading into tonight here at Atlanta, but still plenty early into this 22 race season, as we are only here at race number 4, Atlanta. Jimmy, we're set for a good one here tonight. Carl Hammer joined the booth by Jimmy Covert. I'm looking forward to this one. I like these 1.5 mile tracks. I know they may be cookie cutter to some, but I think they put on some good racing if you got good crew out here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good racing on this size of track. And old Atlanta, it is like you said, has more character. It's got a lot more bumps. They got obviously the separation lines and the concrete. They're down there. You can see in the seams and everything. So it's definitely a lot more challenging for the car. And these cars really, you have to work the throttle a little bit. You can just see right here as we're watching Robert Warrens kind of going around the track here on the screen. You can see that rear end just stepping out just a little bit and trying to, obviously trying to push it to get as much as possible, but you can break the rear end out really easy on these cars during about mid entry, or I should say mid corner, and then on the exit of the corner, it can be really pushy and go up into the wall, or obviously from the middle of the corner you got out too much and the rear end goes around. So hopefully the drivers have it figured out. They were doing some good group practicing out here earlier, just getting everybody together, running around, and everybody testing the waters and seeing how they could run and whatnot. But it's definitely going to be different than from the other night when we had the Xfinity cars at the new Atlanta, and it was basically like a super speedway on a 1.5 mile track. So it's definitely going to show a little bit of different signs out here. But right now they are out there. They are qualifying. I'll go ahead and bring that up on the field here so you can see where your favorite driver is at the moment. Make sure we don't need the intervals yet. We'll just go to the best time here. So I'll show you who is on top. But it looks like Brandon Mefford up on top right now with a 31.951. And Dalton Kilbrough with a 31.956, so very, very close. I did get a chance to run out here a little bit with these cars, doing some testing, setting to make sure the cameras are all set to go. And, I was running in the 32, so I feel comfortable, if I would be able to at least run with some of these drivers out here, and I want to be all the way in the back of the pack, but definitely would be a lot of fun. I don't have I haven't kept up with my oval skills, Carl, but the 1.5 mile track is not too bad of a place to be.
No, I mean, that's where we were a few weeks ago at Las Vegas for race number 3, and as we mentioned, Robert Warrens got the win. Todd Merkel almost getting up there and getting the win, for only finishing 0.8 of a second behind, but we did see a lot of, kind of the usual suspects at the front that we're used to seeing. We did see Mefford up there leading for 16 laps. Dalton Kilbrough led for 11 laps. We haven't seen this year, and I'm kind of surprised, doesn't even have a top 5 yet. He's tied for 5th in the points, and he's Andrew Pleshy. Have not really seen the speed yet in that 81, or maybe just kind of getting caught up in some pit strategy, situations, or some situation on the track that hasn't given him an opportunity. But you see him up there in 3rd right now in the qualifying. But even last week, we seen little glimpses of him here and there, but didn't lead a single lap, and it's kind of maybe hasn't been his year quite yet, but still in 5th in points. So I guess if you're doing that bad and you're still up there in the top 5, can't wait till you start doing good.
Got some dog barking in the background. Excuse me for a second. Definitely can be entertaining out here. Yeah, these just waiting for Pelesci to do his thing here. Like you talked about him early, but it looks like we're rounded down on the time here for what's going on the track. Yeah, we're down to 3 seconds remain. Oh, now we're at race time. So yeah, qualifying is done, and now I guess we can go down and run down the results. Let's see where your favorite driver is going to be here tonight. And it looks like we're going to have a Brandon Mefford on the pole here tonight with a 31.951, and on the outside will be Dalton Kilroe. So good front row here, and a good start there for Dalton Kilroe. We've been seeing Dalton here kind of in the back recently, as well as Andrew Pelesci. And obviously we talked about Andrew Pelesci just a little bit there during qualifying, and he's going to start P number 3. With Cody Griffin on the outside, then Maxwell Caldwell and Derek Paulson for row number 3. Row number 4, Ross Dalton and Ty Marasco. And then we have Corey Coe and Daniel Holloway for row number 5. Row number 6 is going to be Todd Merkel and John Garrett. I've been seeing a lot of John Garrett over here in the past few weeks, being up front as well. Let's see, go ahead and move. I need to click this one. Then you got Michael Taylor and Brandon Meir for row number 7. Robert Warrens, Len McNeese in row number 8. Row number 9, Dennis Warrens and Eric Blount. And row number 10, Graham Conley and Kate Green. Garden Larson and Mike Rideout will come in row number 11. Amy Gardini and Robert Smith will be in that row number 12. Row number 13, Tyler Hilton and Mike Hasty. Row number 14, Tim Lee and Brian Rainville. Row number 15, Doug Waskowski and Michael Pratt. Ray Radford and Matt Kopp back there in row number 16. Row number 17, Kyle Osler and Chris Schussler. Row number 18 will be Hilton Young and Brandon Paul, and I believe that is all we have for tonight. So 36 cars out here on a little bit older track, and it's going to be tricky, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, good sized field out here, and it looks like one of the drivers, Brian Rainville, getting an EOL to start this thing, so he's not going to be starting up there in 26th, so maybe just going back there to kind of work his way up through the field. But either way, yeah, this is definitely going to be different than the Tuesday night that we had in the Core Xfinity Series at the New Atlanta. It's not just going to be follow the leader. It's not just going to be pack racing. It's not going to be Super Speedway-esque here on a 1.5 mile track. This thing, you're going to have to battle it a little bit. You're going to have to work this car into the groove, and you're going to have to keep those tires underneath you, because it's going to chew them up here a little bit. It is a little bit rougher. It's a little bit bumpy. You got to worry about coming out of the corners. You can certainly catch the backstretch wall coming out of turn number 2. Coming out of turn number 4 is going to be the same situation as you said, onto the front stretch. But if you're not being careful, you can slide up and get out of the groove there. So it's kind of tough. Typically, you're going to see the bottom line be the dominant line. You can run that second to the third line-ish if you want to consider it there, and maybe trying to angle your way down off the corner. But you run that thing a little bit too hard, you're going to wash up, you get into those marbles, and well, you're just going to be bouncing off the wall a little bit.
You don't want to bounce off the walls. I don't think I want to have too much fun with that. But we'll get the track map up here so you can see where we're at as they're exiting turn number 4 down the quad oval, getting ready for number 83 to start things off here as they get on the lapel. Barney waves that green flag. Ooh, you see a couple of those.
Yeah, not wasting any time here, as I don't even know if they got to the technically the Geico restart zone here, but a lot of drivers looking at least on my side. I'm not sure what exactly is going on. I think it's just on my side. I'm gonna get the HUD off of there, so maybe that's the ultimate cause. But really, it's just gonna be I think hopefully see these guys kind of settle into a groove. You can certainly make some passes early here, and you're gonna want to use those tires to make your way up through the field, but again, you have to keep them under you, because if this thing stretches out and this thing goes green, you're really going to see the speed gap from the guys that can drive fast and yet save some tires compared to the ones that are just a little bit too rough on their tires. They're going to drop like a rock.
And already Brandon Mefford kind of letting Dalton Kilroe and Cody Griffin get on by, as Dalton Kilroe will take the lead. for now. So just to kind of do those things, but everything looks okay. I do see the 38. I have some issues. Head down here in the dirt still. On turn number 1 and 2, trying to get back up here.
Yeah, not a good spot to be, but he's going to go a lap down as you see the field going by right now. I think on my side it was the overlay that was killing it. My CPU was banging out pretty bad here, but all cleared back up here as we've got. Your leader out front right now is Cody Griffin in the 3. Certainly seen a lot of him last week as he makes a pass here on Dalton Kilroe. Seen some battling out front, not last week, but 2 weeks ago at Las Vegas. Brandon Medford hanging right in there as well. Lost the lead early, but is still right there in the mix of things. When you see that front pack starting to really stretch out already, and I know these guys got speed. I'm not going to say they don't, but I'm worried about that speed being maybe a little bit too early here. We have seen Kilroe be able to be good on the long runs, and even the same thing from Medford, but they seem to be pushing quite a bit here pretty early.
Yeah, these cars are actually pretty easy to kind of overdrive. You know, they warm up after about a lap or so, and then the tires are nice and grippy, and you can pretty much drive the car wherever you want as long as you maintain your throttle and keep it going at a good pace. And next thing you know, you'll find yourself where the car just starts getting really tight or loose, and then you have to back it down, and then obviously your competitors will catch up. So the ARCA car is a very finicky vehicle. Obviously, a lot of times when you run these in officials, it's more in the rookie series, and they don't have cautions, so you need to be easy with your car. One, don't wreck it, and 2, keep your tires underneath you, because you're out there for the whole time. If you can manage your car and your tires, you're gonna end up in the long run being a lot faster. Because there is no caution. So there's no grouping back up. So that was the biggest thing I found when running the ARCA series. It was that no caution thing. They didn't stop the traffic. They just let people pile up and keep on going. So. Made things definitely interesting learning ovals when I first started iRacing, but some 2 wide action. See a bunch of drivers starting to go up and use that high line, being there led by looks like Garrett up on that top side here.
Yeah, John Garrett up there on the top, and right behind him he's got the 84 Lynn McNeese joining him up on that. It's not necessarily a high line. It's kind of like a middle line that you're going to run here. The high line, to me, I don't think works too well here in Atlanta, at the old Atlanta. You can see some guys, and of course, right away. As soon as I say it, there's Len Mace up there. But to me, it seems like
what do you mean it doesn't work?
Yeah, you mean this one right here? Yeah. To me, it always seemed like it was just a little bit too dirty, and it never felt like you had all the grip that you really wanted to have up there. But I mean, you can see him venturing up there, maybe kind of just testing the limits right now. How high can you run up here before you really feel like you're losing grip? Because again, it's out of these corners that you need to worry about. That's when the car really wants to kind of unload and really either break completely loose or push straight up into the outside wall coming out of these corners. But so far, so good. Good start for the boys here at VVR. I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe and get you in touch with everything NCRN has to offer if you haven't done so yet. But once again, another good run out here. Cody Griffin out front. Dalton Kilroe right there still battling with him. Will not let him just easily get away. Brandon Medford right there as well. And Medford now battling with Kilroe for second place. And throw a blanket over the top 3. And then he got about a second back to Andrew Palesci back there in 4th. Derek Paulson in 5th.
Yeah, I'm sure Andrew Palesci is like, go ahead and fight, boys. And burn up the tires, catch up. So, but yeah, some side-by-side action here between the 41 and 83. But keeping it clean, though, Carl. I mean, definitely plenty of room between the two. They're not getting close. It's just, I think, the 83 maybe working to see what's possible maybe for later in the run, and if the lines are actually working and how hard they are to hold. So we're on a lap 11 of 110. So still good 99 laps remaining here at Atlanta. Oh, look at this mess back here.
Yeah, I was just about to say, taking one back further in the field, and I mean, as spread out as the first maybe top 5 are, not so much when you get back to the back half of the top 10 and further back, as it's rush hour back here, and this is where it gets difficult. I mean, you see that on Tuesday night when you're running at full speed. Well, here you're going to be running roughly around full speed, but you're probably going to be lifting off just a little bit just to make sure the car kind of settles into the track, and especially coming up out of the corners, you need to be careful of your surroundings. But excuse me, getting back to what you mentioned earlier, it's been so long, and you know my want-to for running officials, it's just not there. But it's been so long that I actually kind of forgot about the ARCA cars, the ARCA series being caution-free, and it's been so long, and I know I'm probably talking out of the other end right now, but it kind of makes me want to just venture back in there and run a race or two just to see how it works with the no cautions once again. Now that I've had some more skill in me, it's probably been maybe a year or two since I've touched the officials there, especially in the ARCA series. But I'm sure nothing has changed. I'm sure I'll get a half a lap in practice and realize, yeah, I don't want to be here. But we got a few cars in the wall. We see the 84 stripe in the wall. We see the 72 in the wall, and then right there on the front stretch. Trying to see who that was. I missed it right there at the end. Another one in the wall, and I mean, it's just right when I told you, the 61 there. And then we see another one coming off of turn number 2 up there in the wall. You gotta keep this thing straight. It's not going to drive like a super speedway tonight, that in the sense that you need to keep all the fenders completely on there, but you need it there for the handling, and you scrape this wall one too many times, it can be a real rough night for handling for you. So yeah, I understand that the high line may be there, and that for some maybe that's your preferred line, but it's sketchy.
Yeah, it's obviously it's always a challenge to get the vehicle up near the wall. Oh, nice move there by the 83. He comes across the nose of the 41 of Dalton Kilrow and dives underneath the 3 of Cody Griffin. Brandon Mefford sent him out to the front as he got in a little bit of a run there as a 41 of Dalton Kilrow looking there. Doesn't quite have it. Lost that back into the car just a little bit and lets up and fight another battle. But the 3 looking to charge that high line. 83 still sticking with a low. So early moves on, I think, by some of these drivers, just kind of feeling stuff out. But I want to go back to the field, back to this mid pack here. You know, obviously hop on board with Doug Wiskowski and battling the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell there on the outside, part of the Merkle team. Just had a good battle back here. This is P number 16. So great battling back here, and it's like this all the way, Carl, from like Eric Blount leaving the group all the way back to Dennis Warrens there in the back of this group. So we'll just jump on the nose here. We can see the action, what Dennis is witnessing, and that he has to try to work his way through, and along with battling and just trying to manage his own car. But yeah, definitely a battlefield in front of Dennis. And he's going to have his hands full trying to work his way through there. But we'll go ahead and we'll hop on through with some of these guys. Let's see Mike Wright out here in the Coors machine. Is he running the middle upper lane, if you want to call it? I'll just call it the outer, the outside lane, because that's just where they're running right now. But it seems like some drivers are kind of favoring the upper side just a little bit, Carl, like you said. But I wonder if they're trying to use them seams for some traction.
Yeah, it could be. There's some tracks, and I still don't understand it. I feel like it's track per track, but there's some where riding the bottom line and being smooth with it actually saves you more tires. To me, it makes more sense that you're running that middle line or that high line. You're not cranking the wheel as much, and that should ultimately save you more tires. And maybe that's what the case is here tonight at Atlanta. Maybe one of those higher lines are going to help save the tires in the long run, but. Taking a look at the 34 there on Doug Wysocki, and it's getting a little close there to the what is that, the 50 there of Ross Dalton going through the corner. But I'm a sucker for certain colors on cars. White paint schemes, if if they're done right, really stand out and really pop. But for some reason, that green right there on Douglas, on Doug Wasaki, it really stands out to me. I think it's a really good looking paint scheme. Maybe it goes back to my childhood. I was always a Steve Kinzer fan on the dirt side on the World of Outlaws, and years of running the Quaker State number 11 certainly always is going to stick into my memories. So maybe a little childhood coming out there in that bright green at number 34. But we've got a good one out here tonight. 20 laps now down in the books. Still got 90 laps left to go, but it's been a good clean one here. A couple drivers making some mistakes, a couple of them getting up, scraping the wall, but ultimately we've been green from the rip, and these guys are doing a good job.
Yeah, the ones that even have tagged the wall, obviously they're falling back, got a little, some laps down now, but they've hung up, basically kept the control of the car. It easily got it off the wall without bringing it down across the track. So it's just one thing, you're driving around here, and then you get up there and you just brush that wall. It's like a handbrake, it's like somebody just like reached down, grabs your car, and sucks you right to it, and then you're like trying to steer off it just by the smallest amount as you're slowing down, still taking damage, you're losing spots, you start trying not to panic because you don't want to ruin anybody else's race, let alone your own. So and try to come down there without losing minimal time. But yeah, it's a definite handbrake, hand grenade. I mean, at least it's not a hand grenade like it used to be about 2 years ago. The 87s were really bad. You touch that wall and sometimes it would act like a hand grenade and shoot you across.
It was an explosion. It was unbelievable.
It'd shoot you down across the track and even roll, or possibly even think about flipping your car. So, but good battle here all over the place.
It wasn't even like, sliding up and kind of banging into the wall. No, you could have just barely come up and just kissed the wall and boom! Just sent you flying down the track. Like, what's that? So, yeah, I'm glad that certainly was fixed. I mean, it was fun and funny to watch all the other cars doing it, but you do it one time, like, all right, I'm done with this. This is stupid. But, yeah, back to the racing here is Brandon Medford out front. Cody Griffin, Dalton Kilroe still hanging on right there. There's only about 0.6 of a second covering at the top three right now. Andrew Pleshy in fourth, just kind of hanging back there, about 0.7 of a second off the top three. And then he got a 2.5 second gap back to Derek Paulson and Daniel Holloway. I'm sorry, actually Derek Coe in fifth and sixth places. Yeah, I'm trying to see what exactly is going on. It's kind of shifting around here, but yeah, so Pleshy now up to third, Kilroe back to fourth. Not sure exactly what happened. It seemed like he's had a couple moments here and there off the turn at number 2, just getting that back end, stepping out here a little bit. If it's just overdriving it and heating up those rear tires or what the case is, maybe he's got to switch up his line here to get it back underneath him. But again, Medford, Griffin, Pleshy, Kilroe, and Paulson for your top 5. Then you got Corey Coe, Daniel Holloway, Michael Taylor, John Garrett, and Eric Blunt for the top 10. Certainly way too early for the man in 11th, Michael Pratt, to be there. But I mean, this is his first of 6 runs up through the field.
Yeah, I mean, he's found himself, he's up 18 spots as he's battling with the 19 there of Cade Green. So Cade Green gets by, but yeah, Michael Pratt charted forward here pretty early. Finds himself up. See, you said something. Now he's falling backward. Now he's back down to 13.
Hear this on the broadcast. Like, oh yeah, you guys are right. This is way too early.
It's like, whoa, too early. He's back listening up. But working back there, he's in traffic, and I don't know if I'd want to fall back and be in that mess where he's at. He's just in a pretty good spot. But he's running the higher side, the 94, 95, and now the 50 are going to work their way by. It looks like a few others looking to take that spot away as well. But that's where all the close racing is happening right now. Back there from 11th to 16th is pretty tight. We've got some good battling back here with Dennis Warnes, and Matt Kopp, and Gordon Larson.
Brian Randeville into pit lane. Not sure if there's some issues on the 60 here. He did ask for the well to start the race, but it looks like he's in the pits right now. Maybe either making a really early pit stop here, or he's got some damage to get repaired. But that's the first one into the pits. Everybody else out there. We haven't had a word on what we're looking at for the pit run or the fuel run for tonight's race, but I'm expecting this thing to be at least 2 or 3 pit stops here for 110 laps. But I mean, we're already coming up on 30 laps in, so I feel like we should be coming around at that pit window pretty good.
Brandon Medford and Cody Griffin, Andrew Gillespie all coming down in the pits now. And I was out there when I was testing. Usually when you test, they give you a full tank, and I think I was getting like 62 laps, I think, during testing. So it would make sense here that they're coming here at lap 30.
Medford, typically we see when drivers miss their pit stall, they're stopping too late and having to back up. The exact opposite here for Medford. He stopped a little bit too early, a little bit too early again, so having some trouble getting into his pit stop or pit stall is going to put him pretty far back from our top 2 that came in there, as Dalton Kilroe still out there and trying to stretch this thing out as far as possible. Already 30 laps in. It's not one. I don't think you can stretch it out far enough to only make this a 2 pit stop race. I think either way, it's going to be that extra pit stop you're going to have to make. Just take at least the splash and dash at the end. But Kilroe coming out there for a couple more laps, and now he will bring the 41 down and into pit road. It's like Daniel Holloway going to follow him as well. Michael Taylor going to come down, but it looks like Eric Blunt, Maxwell Caldwell, Ross Dalton, Ty Marasco, and Mike Rideout going to stay out there for one more lap at least.
Yeah, so pit entry. I changed my pit camera so I can see everybody coming in here. Everybody doing a good job coming off of turn number 4, coming down in the pits, and it's not like the new Atlanta where you got to come in on the backstretch in turn number 3 and work your way around the bottom. They allow you to come right here, right off turn number 4, and come on down. But great job with the entry for these drivers so far. I'll go to the other end as they exit. As pit lane is busy and heated up there as Ty Marasco, Dalton come in, Caldwell, Eric Blount, Mike Rideout's coming in as well. So everybody just about coming in. I think we still got a few drivers out there right now. Let's see. Who do we got out there right now? Let's see. Is it Cody? Cody Griffin out there? Yeah, Cody Griffin. I will believe once the rotation is done, will come out the leader again. So,
yeah, looks like Cody Griffin is going to be your leader, and Andrew Pileggi now right there behind him. Gordon Larson looks like an issue here. We're going to catch and see where exactly that might have just blinked out, and oh yeah, there was a big moment right there on the backstretch.
Nice to get in the back one.
But I didn't see any damage to the backside of the double zero. I didn't see anything from Hasty there, so I thought maybe some blinking out issues, and maybe it kind of worked out in regards to no damage, or at least maybe until he backs in on the wall right there.
Right.
But yeah, that was, I don't know, just maybe getting on the gas and the car just stepping straight out on him, or what the case was. But hard impact from behind and then hard impact on the front end when he hit the wall. But we are going to stay green because it happened off of the track. But yeah, you do see right there on the front end of Mike Hasty, that thing is banged in pretty good on the Omega Pontiac out there. I love seeing the different paint schemes out here with the different manufacturers, even though it is technically only one manufacturer here in the race. But I mean, it seems like it's still running pretty well and making the pass right there on, excuse me, on the 77. But is Michael Pratt, is he on the lead lap, or is he? Yeah, looks like he might be a lap that out. That could be why. That looks like a pit road penalty for the 77. I'm seeing a 48-second pit stop for him. That typically is not how long you want to be in pit lane, and even seeing some longer pit stops there from Hilton Young and Brandon Neer earlier on in the race, but I think that was some issues, and they are well back in the race at this point. But up front, we got a battle for the lead. Pileggi to the inside here on Cody Griffin. It's allowing Brandon Medford, who certainly had some pit box issues, catch back up on these guys. And you see right behind Dalton Kilroe working his way up there, and Derek Paulson trying to get up there in the mix as well. So your top 5 all starting to concertina right up here together, and we may have the top 5 under a blanket here pretty soon.
I'm wondering what the driver's tire strategy was. Like, I think that's the one thing obviously you don't get a chance to see everybody with them coming into pits, and sometimes if they only take 2 tires, it's they're down and out before the fuel's done. So, but right now, I mean, Brandon Medford is back up front over Cody Griffin and putting on some distance as he's out to almost a 1-second lead.
Yeah, kind of shot out of a cannon, and it looks like he did take at least right side tires. It looks like everybody else maybe opting for fuel only on the pit stop. So Medford already using a set of tires, and it's, to me, I don't think that's really that bad of a strategy call here, because this thing has been staying pretty green here. You're obviously not going to use tires on that stop and go, that splash and dash, whatever you want to call it, for that last pit stop. So maybe using the sets of tires early on could pay dividends here for the 83. But what he needs now, he needs this thing to stay green. He needs this thing to run out all the way at least to that next pit stop, because this is the time where he needs to utilize those tires and try and stretch out his lead, and he's doing just that.
I think this is where we're going to see the shuffle of some of the drivers, where they're at. Obviously, Eric Blunt up there, he's up to heat number 8, up 10 spots. So good fun for him. We talked about Doug earlier and his paint scheme, and I really think it's his chrome numbers that really stand out. Obviously,
it helps.
Got a good looking paint job going on there. Being able to get the numbers chromed out. So basically, you turn them white, and then they do this they call a spec map. Basically, it makes that white look like a mirror. So definitely did a good job on that. He's up 17 spots. Matt Kopp, we haven't talked about him too much, but I think a teammate. Him and Doug are teammates. Obviously, same paint scheme, just different colors, but in a blue variant. Sitting back here in Pete number 22, and he's up 10 spots. So maybe some strategy being shared with each other.
Once again, I want to thank everybody out there that has tuned in here tonight. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and want to send a thank you out to our series sponsors here tonight, and that being Forward Screen Printing, Hilton Crafts and Designs, and Goldline Guardians for all their support here with Tim Lee and VVR. We got a good one here as we are now through lap 40, and we are a third of the way through this race. 110 laps here on tap at the Old Atlanta, and these boys are handling it very well. I know I sound shocked by saying that, but I'm not. I mean, I kind of expected this. There's a lot of good drivers out here in this field, and they're showing their talents as, of course, through this, say that Corey Coe up there in the wall. Maybe I should just stop talking. Maybe we should just run this whole thing under the you love to hear it. It probably would save a lot of drivers from the dreaded announcer's curse. But either way, I think it's a good run out here. Brandon Medford out there to a almost 5-second lead at this point over Andrew Pileshi in second place, who is battling with Cody Griffin. Dalton Kilroe, Derek Paulson for the top 5. They got Daniel Holloway, Ty Marasco, Doug Wysocki, Robert Warrens, your points leader, and Ross Dalton for the top 10.
Everybody just did such a great job. They're running close, and obviously having a few drivers having some issues with the pit stops. Getting the penalties always stinks, but when you're trying to push the car to the limits, and you don't want nobody to get in the back. Yeah, you don't want to spin the car out. I mean, there's all kinds of things going through your mind when you're trying to make that entry underneath the green. A lot can stress the driver out, especially if they're a weak point and they don't get a huge amount of practice unless you do it on your own. And one thing that you can do is you can do them active resets. So obviously you get a couple laps, you set yourself a point, enter. So you're done entering, and you get down to the right speed, hit your active reset, it puts you right back on the back stretch or in that corner, and you do it again, and you just keep doing it over and over and over again. It's the best way I found for a lot of tracks when you're stuck on for myself, it'd be for like a specific corner that I'm having issues and you just can't find your way around it, can't get the right angle, you're entering too late all the time or too early or whatever it may be. You definitely can help yourself out with that, but I think for active reset for ovals, I think a good way to use it, or an opportunity to use it, would be for that pit entry, which can be a stickler for some track.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was more that you can do in the practice phase of it. I know the argument's going to be, well, you know, run a full stint out and you know, do it that way. But you know, I wish there was a way to you know, to kind of program in there to go out there on used tires to see how bad it is on used tires, or maybe, you know, go out there with used tires on the left sides and new ones on the right, so you can feel how taking 2 tires would be on a longer run. You know, it just some different little things like that you know, could help you practice. And you know, again, I understand. You know, people will say, "Well, go out there and run a full stint, and then put right side tires on, and there you go." But one, it takes time to do that, and two, once you do that the first time, you get an idea of it. But what if you want to practice it again? Now all of a sudden you're going to have to run another full stint just to get back to you know, to put on those 2 tires. Where if you can, you know, kind of manipulate a little bit, you have that chance. And even on some of the stock cars, I forget if the ARCA car, if you can or not, but changing fuel. I mean, when you come into these races like this, like they're not running a full tank here tonight. It's I believe it's either 50 or 40% fuel for the series here, VVR. You can't practice that unless you go in there and do the test session from the session. There's the amount of fuel that's in your car, short of going out there and running a half a stint and then coming in and taking new tires, and there you go. Now all of a sudden that's how much you should have in there. So it's little things like that just it don't make sense to me, that feel like it should be something easy that iRacing would allow you to do. But that's my rant for the race.
I mean, I agree with you with a lot of those things, and you know, they should allow you to have some adjustments. And obviously, being more of a road racer, there's things like iRacing really hypes up their new rain model, which we got to experience, and a lot of drivers got to experience on the 12-hour Bathurst. And while you're there, you're using open setups, so you're able to adjust things. You know, your wing, your ARBs, your ABS, you know, whatever the car may have. But when you're in a fixed race, you are just stuck with what they give you. You know, besides your brake bias. So you can't come in and change the wing. You could come in and change and get wet tires, but there's a lot of adjustments that could be changed, and just little ones that are in-car adjustments. I you know, obviously agree with, like, you know, keeping the setup fixed, but you know, if you can adjust little things that are going to help you drive in the rain a little better, you know, maybe give you an extra wing, or you know, be able to adjust your brakes a little bit so they work properly. You know, those are the things that I think iRacing can improve on for something. But they are working on a model for a independent, like a career mode, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
like the NASCAR series. So you know, you'll start off in these ARCA cars, and then move up to like the trucks, and then move up to the Xfinity car, and then the NASCAR. And you know, for somebody that maybe is not very doesn't have the time to get involved in a league, you know, can't run these races or whatever, I can see, you know, racing against the AIs and just having a little bit of fun here in iRacing. So give iRacing giving more options to racers out there. But we're getting at lap 52. Am I seeing some people taking some pit stuff?
No, not yet. Yeah, well, it's like Michael Taylor in the pits, but yeah, I mean, they're coming out with their you know, the title sponsor, but they're the company behind the NASCAR game that's going to be coming out, and it's going to have a lot of the same things. And I mean, what they've done with the dirt side of it, with the World of Outlaws game, has been awesome. I mean, I think they did a fantastic job coming out more there and really kind of revamping what dirt should be on a console, and I would expect that they put the same kind of detail into the NASCAR side of it, because the previous NASCAR games have been weak. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just one man's opinion, but I need like the NASCAR Heat games just could not do it. I could not handle it. for more than a race or two. So hopefully they put a little bit more attention into it. For the career mode here on iRacing, I think it's a nice idea, and it's a chance to get out there and maybe utilize their AI system a little bit more, because I know they put a lot of work into their AI system. As I think the 5 of
Max Caldwell.
yeah, the 5 getting into the 94 there, trying to work his way up through the field with some fresh tires, I believe. But I mean, getting back to what you're saying with the adjustments, like, listen, this is a fixed series right here. Obviously, the other series over in Core that we broadcast, the Core Xfinity series, and then tonight the Core GT series are fixed series, and the setups should stay fixed. And I completely agree with that. But there's a lot of things that you can do in car adjustments or in the pits, like on these oval tracks. You should be able to change tire pressures if you want to have to have a different handling car. I mean, here's your base setup, but okay, well, the car's a little bit loose for me, or the car's a little bit tight. I should be able to make some kind of adjustments there. I should be able to change a little bit more once I come into the pits.
Right.
And on the road side, there's so many different adjustments you can make in the car to the setup that you have. So maybe it's a setup that doesn't really feel good and work for you. Yeah, I mean, I think asking for wings maybe a little bit much would be nice when you have those rain races and the transition races, like you're saying, Jimmy. I mean, technically in real life they can do that. They can come in and they can change a wing if they needed to or wanted to. But maybe you don't offer something that drastic. But there's so many in-car adjustments that you can make in real life that you can't in iRacing in the fixed series. And it feels like it's something that shouldn't be that difficult to kind of unlock those features for the fixed races. But okay, that's rant number 2. As we come up to the halfway mark here tonight, we got 50, almost 56 laps here in the books. We're starting to see the second round of pit stops, and I'm kind of surprised that we're seeing them right before that halfway mark, or right around that halfway mark. Is really close there. Seeing some of the leaders coming in. Robert Warnes, your points leader. First time we're seeing the 95 at the front here tonight. Started back there, excuse me, in 15th position, and is staying out there just a little bit longer. Been on lap number 31, so you expect you should be able to go to around lap 62 for Robert Warnes, and even some of these guys that came in earlier. It feels pretty early to me. I mean, you feel like these guys should be coming in around the 58 at least, lap 60 maybe, before they're coming in and making sure that you can get all the way to through the second half with as minimal pit stops as possible. But if you're pitting before halfway, I feel like you're kind of adding an extra pit stop in there.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go ahead, and they know that they're gonna have to pit one more time anyways, and I think they're just at the they're staying out there as long as they can, and get them fresh tires, because a lot of drivers maybe they didn't take tires, and now they have been passed by a bunch of people, and on them new tires. And when you're going around the track and you're struggling, and then somebody comes right out of the pits, and then next thing you know, they drive by you like you're the slowest thing on the track, and obviously you are one of them. It just makes it challenging, and he's like, all right, well, maybe I should think about tires. But Robert Warren's not thinking about tires; he's thinking about leading the race right now. So getting out there, getting some laps led, doing a great job. And then you have Ross Dalton in a battle there with Ty Marasco in the 83 again, going on that outside. But I think he's trying to get his lap back.
Yeah, he already came in to make his second pit stop. And coming in just before the halfway point. So you see the 83 now trying to work his way up through the field, and looks like he is this is his pit stop now that he elected not to take tires. So now we'll get to see how far ahead that 83 is going to be once the pit cycle is complete, and how quickly they run him down to try and take the lead away from him. But right now, Robert Warnes is coming into the pits, giving up that lead. Looks like Ty Marasco is going to stay out. Maxwell Caldwell going to stay out for another lap. Eric Blunt, John Garrett, Daniel Holloway, and looks like Corey Coe are going to be your top 6. Mike Rideout still going to stay out, and then Looks like the rest of the top 10 have come into the pits already, so should be seeing the final few pit stops in the next lap or two to complete the pit cycle, and that should put the 83 back up on top of the boards.
Yeah, and I know these guys that, obviously got the new tires. Right now, they want it to go green. So not everybody gets that chance to catch back up, or get a caution, get some of these drivers caught laps down. But obviously, a lot of those drivers coming into pits now: Blount, Garrett, Holloway, Coe, all down the pits, and a few on their way out right now. I see Griffin's on his way out. Hilton's he's on exit. So yeah, a lot of drivers here, but right now, currently, still 15 drivers on the lead lap as the pits are rotating around. I'm sure we'll get some more here soon. Trying to see who will be on the lead. It looks like Paul.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm missing here. Maybe I just kind of blacked out while I was going through my rants, but Mefford has slipped back to all the way to technically 7th right now, but once everything shakes out, should be 4th place, as it's going to be Derek Paulson that should cycle out as your leader, Andrew Pilecki, Dalton Kilrow, all in front of that 83 of Mefford, so he's going to have a little work to do, but he's now the one that doesn't have new tires on, as it looks like all three of the guys in front of him, Paulson, Pilecki, and Kilrow, got some fresh rubber on those cars, and I would expect to see them to check out here a little bit. We did see Paulson running through the field here a little bit early, as he pit on lap number 50, so plenty early compared to everybody else. Not sure how that's going to tie into the second half of the race and how far he can go. Excuse me, but Mike Redout still out there, still your leader. He has yet to come in, as you see Paulson now passing him, so this is a pass for the lead technically, but Rideout is still going to come into the pits. He's really stretching this thing out on the second run. Pit on lap number 32, one of the latest pitters on the first stint, and going to be, looks like the last one to come into the pits on this stint. I was going to say, hopefully he's not looking to come in right now, because Pilecki's on the inside making that pass, so Rideout's going to fall to third, but we are past the halfway point. We are on that lap 65 right now. Paulson, new leader at the front.
You got Paulson, Pilecki right out for your top three. Kilrow, Cody, Griffin, Mefford, Warrens, Dennis and Robert, and Ross, Dalton, and Mike Taylor for your top 10. So yeah, definitely interesting. We still got this group mid-pack here. Pretty close here still, 14th, 15th, 16th. Like Hastie's, Todd Merkel, John Garrett, Maxwell Caldwell. All these guys run very good and close together for the majority of the race. But we'll move up here to the Warrens up here in the 95. Got Doug and Dennis Warrens right behind him. Dennis now moving in position behind the 95. So 95 leading the way, maybe 90 picking up some tips and tricks from his teammate, brother, cousin, I don't know, family member.
Well, just to give you an idea of how well these drivers have been running, and still, kind of how close everybody has been. Well, actually, it doesn't help when you have a pit road penalty, and that's what Mike Rideout has right now. But he went from first, and now he has dropped himself out of, technically, he's right now 25th. I was going to say out of the top 25. He is 25th right now, so falling pretty far in. And that's what's going to happen here tonight. There's not really that many people that far off pace that that you're going to keep yourself within the top 10, top 20, just coming into pit lane. So if you have some kind of issue, whatever the case is, it's going to be a long night for you. As you see the 72 right there having a bit of an issue. That's Kyle Osler. It looks like he is kind of limping that thing around right now in 31st. Certainly would love to see a caution, but the 72 right here, actually, are they both 72? Am I missing? Yeah, this is 72 on the screen, but this is Mike Hasty, the 35 on the tower. You'll be a little confused there, but yeah, you see the front end still banged in. Didn't get much repaired onto that pit stop, but it doesn't seem like he's really that far off pace. Still hanging in there in 17th position right now and catching up to the 22 of Matt Cobb.
Yeah, last lap running. Let's see, look for the 35. So just a few seconds off, though. You know, just having a bad lap. But a lot of those runs right now. Leaders running 33.6. I see the 32.8 in the back here by a 95. I think it was the fastest lap last time by. So, yeah, Robert Warren's on the way forward, trying to get closer to the front here for the finish. But Fleshy, you know, haven't seen much of him up front, as we mentioned earlier, but tonight finds himself out leading over Derek Paulson there in second. Dalton Kilroe still looking to get up front here. Talk to us again. Cody Griffin doing a good job in the 3. There's Robert Warren's up there in the 5, up 10 spots. Dennis Warren, 10 spot. Doug Wiskoski, biggest mover of the night in that heat, number 9. Like AC, another big mover, up 10 spots. Mike Copperben back there. So it looks like they're teammate of Doug Wiskoski. I'm just assuming since they're taped out there almost identical.
If that was completely by chance there, but yeah, I mean, we see Andrew Pleshy out front off. Maybe he heard the early talking and the early smack talking by me, like wondering when and where we'd see the 81. Well, he's found his way to the front right now, and really starting to check out from Derek Paulson, who again pit 6 laps earlier than Andrew Pleshy, so he's got some more used tires than the 81 does. So seeing Pleshy out front, but man, it's been, as the folks said, the 40 or 47 is scraping the wall there a little bit. But it's kind of crazy. It seems like this race has kind of really mixed itself up. I mean, we've seen a 3-way battle pretty much the entire first run out there with Cody Griffin, Dalton Kilroe, and Brandon Medford. Now all 3 of those guys have been shuffled back. Kilroe is in 3rd, Cody Griffin in 4th, but then Brandon Medford, who enjoyed the 2nd run completely by himself and checking out from everybody, is back in 8th place and is still dropping. So things have got to work out a little bit better in the back half of this race for the 83 to try and get himself back up there. He was the pole sitter here tonight. He's got the speed, but maybe doesn't exactly have the strategy nailed down right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing here when you come race over with virtual velocity racing, or VVR as we usually call it. They run green flag laps a lot, so it's really important that you have a good idea what strategy you want to use, and that you execute it properly. And that goes down to part of the execution is that pit entry and pit stop, not missing your pit stall, not missing pit entry, not getting any penalties, stuff like that. So that plays more of a role most of the time than being able to be out there and just run fast laps. So because it's the easiest place to make up times, the easiest place to lose time. So it's definitely a very important part of the race that some people tend to overlook. But right now, Andrew Pilecki executing a good strategy so far, finds himself out in the lead. Still plenty of racing remaining as we're on lap 77 of 110. And you got Derek Paulson in 2nd and Dalton Kilroe in 3rd.
All these drivers are out here running lean and green from the beginning. I think it's time for us to step aside here a little bit, give everyone out there in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
Love to hear it. The sights and sounds, not only here at iRacing, but here at Atlanta with the ARCA cars. 22 laps to go, and we find ourselves with Maxwell, Caldwell, Daniel Holloway leading the charge right now. Pit stops in action yet again for the final time, I believe, here tonight. So who's going to come out the winner here tonight? Obviously, I want to say thank you to all the fans that stopped by and chatting up a storm here in the over there on YouTube. Obviously, shout out to Barry and Donald for saying something. And yeah, it's been a good race so far. But who out there is still watching, and who you got to finish this thing in first place?
Yeah, right now we still got Maxwell Caldwell. Looks like he's one of the last ones to come into the pits. Cade Green right now in 5th. He is yet to come in as well. But pretty much the rest of the field, looking down through the order, looks like maybe Ty Marasco yet to come into the pits down there in 14th. But the rest of the field making their final pit stop here of the race. So it should see Andrew Pileshi back out front. Everyone taking tires this time in. This is going to be the last pit stop of the night, bearing any kind of caution or anything like that late. So need to get that fresh rubber on there right now and give it all it's got, because right now this is the run to the finish. And Andrew Pileshi will end up having, looks like about an 11-second lead over Cody Griffin. So that is a huge margin here for the 81. And technically he's got a lap newer tires as well. So everything working in the 81's favor here tonight. I guess we just had to talk about him a little bit, Jimmy. We just had to remind him, like, hey, you're good, right?
Hey, you've won races before. Remember, we got to get one in this year. I mean, maybe it was too early in the season. But,
I was about to say he's got to switch back to the popcorn paint scheme. I mean, it's clearly not working for him what he's got on here here for this season. But he's back to some good running form here. Cody Griffin right now going to be in 2nd. Dalton Kilrow is going to move up into 3rd as Maxwell Caldwell makes his pit stop. Robert Warren's your points leader. Again, started 15th. He has slowly, methodically worked that 95 back up towards the front. Maybe not going to factor into the race here as the winner tonight, but not too far off of a podium spot. And he's got newer tires than both Kilrow and Griffin in front of him. So we'll see if 95's got anything to charge them down and get a podium out of this thing yet. Maxwell Caldwell now coming out of the pits, but you see he is going to be down there in 10th position. So freshest tires on the track. What does he have in store? Can he make up any kind of ground and get himself further up into that top 10?
Don't have much time to do it. 18 laps. Looking at about 9 minutes to make up quite a bit of time to the front. Probably won't make it that far, but let's see if he can get a few spots here and there along the way, as these drivers continue to battle it out. I'm trying to look to see where the battles might be, but the closest ones, let's see, I think right here. Is it Garrett? Nope. Glenn McNeese outside.
I think Robert Warrens is catching up to Dalton Kilrow at the front.
I don't see anybody.
Let's see. Otherwise, no, it's actually sorry. Looking at the other way around, Ross Dalton is right there with Robert Warrens. But yeah, everyone pretty spread out here in the back half of this race. But
Tyler Hilton chasing down Douglas Koski.
And Hilton has the fresher tires by 2 laps here on Wysocki as he tries to take over 17th position. Chris Schuessler did try and stretch his thing out and was hoping for a caution, but he is going to make his final pit stop of the race. So technically he'll have the freshest tires on the track, but he's going to fall pretty far back by the time he comes back out onto the track. Pileshi's lead is looks like it's 8 seconds over Cody Griffin, so maybe just kind of putting in cruise control right now, as he is about a second slower that last lap. So we'll see what's going on with that 81, if he's just kind of riding right now, if it was a rough lap or two for him, or maybe he decided to take a little bit less fuel on this last pit stop. That's what's got him the lead.
There's a wreck. I see it on the track. Where's it at? There it is. Time
there we go. That is going to put everything into play here, as the one of Marasco is going to get involved in this one. It looks like maybe Hilton Young as well. And right there, already starting between the 1 and the 38. Trying to take it back here and see what exactly started this, as they were going down into, I believe, turn 3. Looks like I don't know if the one was a little bit loose. Yeah, it looks like he's really loose going in the back straight. Oh man, just a huge amount of net code in between the 1 and 38. Probably, I mean, you could fit a bicycle in between those two cars right there as they make internet contact on the entry of turn number 3 right there, and it's going to bring out our first caution here of the night. And I say first because, Jimmy, this is the first time we get to group them all back up here for a restart, and it's late in the race. I don't know if this is going to be the last caution here because it's about to get racy real soon. Now the question is, of all these drivers that came in, I know it's only been, 10 laps or so since the, a lot of these cars made it into the pits. Does anybody have a fresh set of tires that they dare come in to take on this last little run before the finish line? And, how far up through the order are you willing to give up track position for it?
Well, I mean, there's 13 cars on the lead lap. So if you have tires and you're back in the behind the top 10 and back, yeah, I'm probably going in. I mean, I'm definitely going in. I'm going to come back out and be right back there on that bumper of those leaders with some fresh tires and hopefully give you the chance. Obviously, the equipment will be a little bit better and be able to keep things down. But it's going to show who has tires up front, and maybe Andrew Pileshi was saving tires, maybe he wasn't. But here we are at the end of the race. 13 laps to go. We're going to group them back up. Doesn't look like we have any takers down in the pit lane. Just a few, Hilton and a few others that are already lapped down. So, but yeah, 13 drivers on the lead lap. So who's it going to be? Pileshi, Griffin, Kilroe, Robert Warnes, Ross Dalton, Brandon Mefford, Eric Blount, the other Warren, Dennis Warnes, John Garrett, Todd Merkel, Daniel Holloway, Maxwell Caldwell, or Corey Coe has the opportunity to win here tonight at Atlanta.
Well, I mean, this is it's going to get interesting because what was Pileshi going slow for is the question. Was he just trying to save tires? Mm-hmm. Was he just trying to be methodical? Was he just trying to save fuel? If any of those are the case, he's still got pace. No pun intended. Not trying to rhyme on you there, but he's still got a chance. But if he was that slow because that's his pace, he is gonna get eaten up here pretty quickly because he was about a second slower than Coe on the run right there, and he can by Cody Griffin, not Corey Coe. So we're gonna see how this thing plays out, but. How about Robert Warnes now all the way up there? Andrew Pileshi's 8-second lead is gone. This is up for grabs potentially here at the end of this thing. We've seen 3 different winners so far this season. Robert Kahn, DJ Mitzel, and Robert Warnes. Can Warnes go back to back? That's going to be a no, as he does not get the restart that he wanted right there. The 95 spins the tires.
No caution yet. Where's it at?
I would think that probably should be a caution. There we go. There is the caution. The 95 tried to get on the gas, and the back end just would not get going. Spun the tires, got into the wall, and I mean, we'll take a look back and see officially what got this going. But you kind of seen it right on the screen right there. It looks like the 90, same thing. The 90 spins his tires, gets down into the 6 of Eric Blunt. And man, some guys just trying to get everything they can here on this restart. Not working out too well.
Yeah, one
the
two
of
right.
Merkel, just nowhere to go for the 2 of Merkel.
Blount
slams into the back, and man, a lot of cars getting involved in this one. This was a rough one, but this is going to help Pileshi. This is going to help Pileshi get a little bit closer to that finish and get closer to a green-white checker situation, but quite a few cars getting involved in this late race caution.
Yeah, man, I need to change it. This chopper's a little low on me here tonight. Let's go up to the blimp, maybe. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll go over this again. And we'll move to the blimp here. You can see the 95, the front in the left side of the screen, go to the wall. The 90 starts. And then the Merkel, the 2, gets in between them, and that's going to kind of start bouncing cars around. It looks like Pratt comes down the miss. Hasty's down. Hemby's gonna looks like lose it down there in the makeshift Sunoco car. Len McNeese gets into the rear end of the 22. Oh, Tim Lee's gonna get back into the 70 in the Coors machine. Oh, the one gets back and brings up the rear end of the 24. 33 is gonna go around. Looks like the 08. Oh, that's gonna lots of action going on in the back of the pack here as everybody's trying to check up, and because the caution didn't immediately come out, Carl. I mean, it took a little while for iRacing to throw that flag and bring that caution out to slow the cars down, as everybody's like, oh well, it's not yellow yet, let me go, trying to make it through spots.
Yeah, and you can't really blame him. I mean, you gotta try and tiptoe through the wreckage there and try and make your way through, because you don't want to get wrecked as well. But yeah, caution's not out. You gotta try and get through that as quick as possible. But it's gonna bring us down closer to the finish of this thing, and looks like some cars kind of getting caught in between Paleshi and the pace car here. So looks like they may have to get the wave around here before we get this thing going. But pace car lights, I believe, pace car lights are out, and Paleshi going to choose the outside line here. So very interesting. We've seen both the cars that immediately snapped up and got loose on that restart started on that outside. So does Paleshi have something that we don't know? Maybe he's just going to take that gamble and he's going to try and go from that outside line, but it's going to be on the inside line. Griffin, then you got Kilrow and Dalton on that second row. Mefford back up into fifth. You got John Garrett up there in sixth, but definitely not going to be back-to-back wins here tonight for Robert Warrens, as he was one of them that spun the tires on that restart, and it can happen very easily. Not that many laps on these tires, but I don't know what it is about these quad ovals here. Atlanta, Charlotte is known for just as much. Texas, maybe not as much. I think it's just a little bit flatter, and for some reason it's a little bit easier on the restarts there at Texas. But the restart here at Atlanta, it is big. It is the biggest one here to this point here at Atlanta, and it looks like a little bit cleaner of a restart this time. The 81 on the loud pedal. Paleshi heads off into turn number one. Good restart for him. He's going to clear. He's going to be in the middle of the track trying to get that thing wound up as quick as possible. Griffin chasing him and moving up now on the backstretch. We've got 7 laps to go as we hit the line.
7 laps to go. Decent start here from the front. But Andrew Paleshi has the lead right now. Cody Griffin on the outside as Ross Dalton in the 50 makes their way up front here to on the podium spot, but was looking to the low side to possibly take the P number 2 away from the 3. Still down that inside, so maybe some newer tires. There's a 41 of Dalton Kilrow looking to make his way up to the podium as well, but has some stiff pressure from the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell and P number 5. John Garrett's in 6th. Daniel Holloway's in 7th. Brandon Mefford has found himself back in P number 8. Corey Coase in 10th, and Eric Blomps in for your top 10. But we are side by side back here for P number 2 as Cody Griffin, Dalton, Kilrow, Caldwell battle it out. Oh, go 3 wide!
3 wide as Caldwell definitely has some newer tires than the rest of these guys up front. Dalton pinches him down just a little bit and gets into him, and that's going to shuffle him back a little bit, but it's still going to be 3 wide entering turn number 3, and I'm sure Paleshi's loving what he's seeing in the mirror right now. Go ahead, have at it, boys. Race it up. I don't want any part of it. I'm going to try and check out here, but that 94 looks like he's got reservations for one at the front. Still trying to get around Dalton, who has got some fresh tires up here as well. Pit on lap number 87, where a lot of the guys around him pit on lap 86, but a little bit of a slide there from Caldwell. Just can't clear the 50. As we come down the backstretch one more time, Daniel Holloway now trying to get up here in the mix. He's got some fresh tires as well. He pit on lap number 89, so a little bit fresher than the rest of the guys right in front of him. Caldwell finally clears. Does he have enough juice in those tires to run down the 81 of Paleshi? Only 0.6 of a second separating him with 3 laps to go. Actually, 4.5 laps to go right now.
We've seen how long it took the 94 to get by the 50 as they battled it out. So now the 94 has to chase down Andrew Pileshi up up there about 4/10 ahead right now, as now Ross Dalton is under fire from Dalton Kilroe as Dalton Kilroe looks to the inside to grab away that third position, that last podium spot. Can they do it? But the 26 has some newer tires. Daniel Holloway finds himself in a great position here for a top 5, lurking over his way maybe to steal away the podium as well, as he's now looking at the outside of Dalton Kilroe as they head down the backstretch.
I know Dalton is loving what he's seeing right now from Holloway, trying to get up there and on the outside right now for 4th place. But up at the front, we've got a battle brewing for the lead. And Pileshi has got some company. This thing is far from over. Coming across the line this time by, we've got 2 laps to go here at Atlanta. Who is going to get this thing done? As Maxwell Caldwell dives down to the inside now. And we've got a battle down the backstretch. Pileshi just having a little bit better run off the corner. It's going to hold them off for the time being. And Caldwell's going to have to run back to the inside. This thing is going to go back down to the line here.
Yeah, looks like.
And it is going to be Pileshi taking it home here at Atlanta. Certainly not for the lack of trying it by the 94, as Caldwell did everything he could and even got completely alongside for the lead, but just not enough. The 50 of Dalton going to come home in 3rd place. A little shot there from Holloway, as Holloway's going to come home in 4th, Kilroe in 5th, Cody Griffin, Brandon Mefford, Corey Coe, John Garrett, and Eric Blunt for the top 10. But what a run to the finish there. We had a nice long green flag run in the beginning of this race, and it really spread the field out. But at the end of this thing, a couple cautions made it very interesting.
Yeah, and you kind of sometimes, well, especially when you're leading with that far out, and obviously Pileshi was able to hold on and get the win here. And I think kind of what it narrowed down to is Maxwell Caldwell having to battle the 50 of Ross Dalton that finished in 3rd, and had fighting just a lap or two too many. And then he just got a little bit loose in that one corner, not able to get it the rear end of the stick to make that pass in 81. But the 81 is going to burn it down here and celebrate that victory here tonight. So I guess we can do a quick rundown of where your favorite drivers have finished tonight. But your winner here tonight is going to be Andrew Pileshi. So Andrew Pileshi, congratulations. Maxwell Caldwell and BP number 2. Ross Dalton will take home 3rd. And then we will have Daniel Holloway, Dalton Kilroe, P number 5, Cody Griffin, Brandon Mefford, Corey Coe, John Garrett, Eric Blount for your top 10, Robert Warnes, Todd Merkel, Michael Taylor, Doug Wiskoski, Tim Lee for your top 15, then Mike Hasty, Tyler Hilton, Matt Kopp for your 18, but Ty Marasco is in 19th, and that's Warnes in 20th. And you have Mike Rideout, Michael Pratt, Gordon Larson, Kate Green, Chris Schuessler for your top 25, and Ray Radford, Len McNeese, Robert Smith, Hemi Gardini, Brandon Muir, Kyle Osler, Hilton Young, Derek Paulson, Brian Rainville, Graham Conley, Brandon Paul, and that will be your 36 car field here tonight.
Well, we got our top 3 in the waiting room ready for their interviews, and all 3 well-deserved here tonight, as this was a good one and a good battle all the way down to the end. But ultimately, it is going to be Pileshi, Caldwell, and Dalton that grab the podium positions here tonight. So 4 races on the season, 4 different winners with Pileshi getting the top spot here tonight. So I guess, Jimmy, before next week, we just need to kind of discuss amongst ourselves who we haven't seen, who we want to talk to at the end of the race, because it certainly worked out for Pileshi. But let's go ahead and bring up our drivers here for the top 3. And Jimmy, 3rd place tonight is going to be the 50 of Ross Dalton.
Hey, Ross, it's Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Got you loud and clear, buddy.
Hold on a second. I need to turn you up just a little bit. Anyways, you had a very interesting race here tonight. coming down to the finish. Obviously, a late caution again groups everybody up and puts you in a position to possibly get that win. Did you have some new tires at the end? I seen you had a really good battle there with the 95.
Yeah, I just that last stint before when we took our last tires, I had a few laps left in the bank on fuel. If I'd have played my cards right and ran it along, had a few fresher tires right there for that last restart, and would have been a lot better for giving a run for the win right there at the end. But we was there, we had a shot, and second time ever doing this. On this style of racing and with the live pit stops and stuff like that. I'm just a short track guy, man. I don't race big track stuff. So everything's a learning process. I picked a guy out of the crowd and kind of followed him around and just played by his strategy, and then I learned a lot, and really looking forward to the rest of the season, man. I think I got a shot to win one or two of these things.
Well, it's good to see the 50 up there and plenty of different drivers battling for the win. Pitch strategy goes a long way. A lot of green flag running here at VVR, I've noticed, and obviously pitch strategy comes into a big plan. So obviously you say you're a short track guy, and can't stand them myself. Love to watch them, but I'm glad I'm up here in the booth because I can't drive them. I can't save tires or anything. But you did a great job out here. You come walk away with a third place finish, and then number your 50 Ross Dalton Racing Machine. You got any shout outs that you may have for that car?
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta give a big shout out to Cody Griffin for all that he does for me, and make sure that I stay up to date with all the stuff and get me in this league, and Tim Lee and all the guys that put on an awesome series here. And gotta give a shout out to Mom and Dad. They're back home watching, and everybody that's got a part in this thing, man. It's awesome. Big thanks to all my boys at Ross Dalton Racing and Development, and Michael Steel Graphics for keeping this thing looking sharp, and again, Cody Griffin for somehow or another dragging me into racing these kind of races.
Yeah, get you out of your comfort zone just a little bit. You always learn something, and it'll make you a better overall driver. And it's starting to show, obviously, as you're able to walk away here with a third place finish. And again, just want to say congratulations and let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thank you, buddy.
That is your third place finisher here tonight, the 50 of Ross Dalton. Second place here tonight, and almost your winner, but just coming up a little bit short here, the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Max, you had a heck of a run there at the end. You had some maybe newer tires than the other guys out here. You were playing a different pit strategy, a later pit strategy, and the late caution seemed to help you out pretty nicely.
Yeah, it did. We started up front and then decided to go into massive tire save, knowing how bad I was terrible with the right front. I think when we took our first set of tires, my right front was at 14%. Like, bad. Yeah, it was plowing, let me tell you. So we had went to the back to try to hang out, and I don't know if traffic or some other things just kind of hurt us there. So we were mired in anywhere from 10th to 15th most of the race. And there at the end, I decided, what am I going to lose by taking just two right sides? Try to make the pit stop a little bit shorter and just see what happens. And I'd already pitted later than the other guys anyway for the left side tires, so it was just going to be what it would be. And then that yellow comes out like 3 laps after I took those rights, and I said, perfect. So many cars were a lap down, we were able to come down, take the lefts that were still in the pits, and that's what really helped give us some traction and help us run down that 81. And he's a teammate of mine. He led most of the race. He deserves the win. But, man, I told him I wasn't going to let you go without at least giving a little bit of a fight. 2 to go, we got to that bumper, and I was like, here we go. But we both, if you notice, I don't think you're going to see much cleaner racing for the win than that. We didn't touch. We didn't bang. And we're notorious for it, but we kept it super clean. So all I gotta say is that 81. Remind him in his interview he owes me one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he did everything he could, and I think the maybe the battle that you had the most coming out with those last couple laps was that 3-wide battle for second. It was not exactly easy, and even got into the side of Ross Dalton a little bit there, coming off of 2 before you were finally able to make that pass. So, do you think that may have held you up enough that you couldn't give a true, good hard battle against the 81 for the end?
Absolutely. I'm not going to say they did anything wrong, but I think y'all will know what I mean because I don't know any other word to use. It was just kind of dumb. It's kind of stupid to do all that with him just pulling, checking out. Like, what are we really accomplishing there? They knew I was on fresher tires. They knew I was going to get them anyway. All they did was delay the inevitable. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that absolutely did hurt. I don't mind them racing, but 3 wide right there. And I felt like the car in the middle kind of came down on me on the exit of 2, and that's where we had some contact. At least it felt that way. If I came up, it wasn't by much. So, but once we finally cleared them, you saw that I was able to just gap rather quickly. If I could have had one more lap, I think I'd have had that 81. I mean, if I was able to get to his inside, you know,
maybe Andrew was paying
the last
the
lap, I should have been able to complete that. But he had speed all night. I was struggling a little bit with just snug in the center. And here at Atlanta, you don't ever think you're going to hear that, but these cars were just tight. And I'm good with a blip in the throttle, real loose car. No, this thing drove right off the right front, and I can't stand that. So to run where we were running all race and finish second, I can't complain at all.
Well, I mean, hopefully the trend is going in the right direction now. I mean, obviously, you kind of struggled to start the season. A couple finished outside the top 10. You finally break into the top 10 last week at Vegas, and now not only do you break into the top 5, but you're battling up there for the win. So it's got to feel good that it's trending in the right direction at this point.
Yeah, and we're going to hope the points increase. Since I could stay out so much longer, I saved, I guess, 3 more laps of fuel than the rest of the field, it felt like. I guess because of how much I was trying to baby it that first run, that I was able to get some laps led, and that got me on an off strategy that I would always lead a couple laps before pitting. So hopefully leading laps got us a little bit of a bonus point. I think there's one for leading a lap. That'll help. And then, obviously, yeah, finishing second will be fantastic. Andrew has been running pretty decent most season, I believe. I don't think he's got too many bad finishes at all. I think he's actually been pretty consistent. So he may be looking close at the points, not points lead, but maybe second or third right now. And it'll just be keeping up with the teammate there. Like, he's good. I can run with him at most tracks. Y'all hit the nail on the head. Rough start to the season, so we're digging out of a hole right now, but be excited to see where we're at in the points, and excited for where we get to race next. This season's fun, and these guys are fun to race with. They're tough, too.
Well, you got a month off before you head to Richmond, so any plans for the time off? You going to get some practice in? Are you just going to enjoy the time off?
We've got a couple other leagues we run in throughout the week, too. We've got a Wednesday one that's going to follow pretty much the NASCAR schedule. That'll keep me at least racing in next gens. But, yeah, for Richmond, I can only imagine what this car is going to do, and it's probably going to be bumper cars on ice, I'd imagine. So,
I mean, I would need 4 weeks off before I needed to run a Richmond, too.
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out the schedule. These boys want to race. We just came off an off week, run one race, and now we're going to be off for a month. Mm-hmm. Let us go, Tim. Let's roll. We're ready to go next week. So.
You don't have to tell me and Jimmy that. We'll definitely be on board with that as well, because we're kind of sitting back. We don't have those races in between to get this thing. So either way, it's gonna be a nice little break here for you. Looking up at the second place here tonight. So congrats on the finish. Who do I give a shout out to or thanks to?
Oh, absolutely. First and foremost, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He's blessed me so much with the ability to have a rig and the setup and be able to come and run with these amazing people each and every week. This league we found last season and just fell in love, me and Andrew did. And so we continue to run here. And this season's stacked. It's a lot of fun, but it's challenging. So blessed to be here. I got to thank Merkel Racing Engines for being on the hood. Todd Merkel's in the field tonight. He has sponsored me for a couple of seasons now on all my cars. So he's a great sponsor, great team owner, so glad to run for him and get a good finish for him. And then thanks for my teammates, Andrew, Kyle Osler in his first race tonight with the league. So he just tried to stay out of trouble and finish somewhat decent. Had a few hiccups, but shout out to him. And Andrew and Brandon unfortunately didn't get to run. And then just thankful for the league and for you guys with the broadcast. I've done broadcasting in another league some before. I know the time and effort it takes to get stuff set up, get the graphics ready, and try to paint the story the whole race, right? Especially with as long of a green run as we had. I'm sure there were some stories you'd have to try to find through the field there. So I know it ain't easy, but y'all do a fantastic job and always enjoy getting to go back and watch it. So.
Yeah, we find little things to go off on a rant, or at least I do throughout the race, and and certainly fill in. But I mean, ultimately, the racing here at VVR has been fantastic, and you guys put on enough of a show on the track that it makes our jobs a lot easier. So we thank you for the shout out. We'll let you go celebrate, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again in a month here, and not too long in between.
Sounds good. Don't forget to remind that 81 he owes me one.
Absolutely, buddy. That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Last one we're going to talk to, Jimmy, is going to be your winner. We talked about him and just, kind of manifested a win here for him. So I think he needs to thank us for that.
Andrew, it's Jimmy calling the booth, buddy. You copy?
You hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. Hey, man, you're back. Yeah, we were wondering where you're at. We seen you in the field, wondering what you're doing in the back of the pack. I'm like, well, and then Carl started talking trash about you, and your teammate says that you owe him one. I mean, all kinds of things going around here, but
he got lucky. He did a good job. I'm glad I get to hang out with my favorite broadcasters again.
But we were trashing on your paint scheme. You need to bring the popcorn back. I mean, there was all kinds of things going on up here, but. No, tonight was awesome, man. You had speed all night long. You played your pit strategy great. Your pit executions put you in a spot. You at one point, I think Carl said you're out to like a 12-second lead, and then obviously it started. We're thinking that you were probably maybe conserving some tires since you had such a big lead over Cody, and just all of a sudden that last caution came out. So just like. Any race, when you get them late cautions, it really winds things up, and you really had some drivers back there hungry that maybe had some newer or fresher tires, and they battled it out a little bit behind you, gave you that opportunity to sneak out there just a little bit. And Max was saying that if he just had one more lap, that even though you're a teammate, I think the gloves would have been off, buddy. But you made it happen. You walk away the winner here tonight. And it was a lot of fun to watch, and we want to. Well, now that I'm talking too much, probably want to hear your side of the story.
Yeah, well, it was I've struggled with this car. I'm not this momentum kind of not using the brakes as much kind of car. That's kind of I've been off for the first few races of the season, and tonight it really played into my driving style. I'm a guy I like to use the brake pedal. I like to try to save tire, be there at the end, that kind of deal. Normally what I try to do is like back off at the start, and it's hurt me a lot lately. So I figured I'd try to run up front, qualify decent, and try to just save a little more tires than the guy around me. And it worked. And first pit stop went. I don't remember what happened. I think we got the lead after that. I don't even know.
You did.
But yeah, got the lead after that, and it all worked. I don't know. The car drove great. Like I said, this really played into my driving style. After the second pit stop, I felt like I had it locked up, but I knew like it was like a piano above me. I was like, this caution's gonna come. This is too good to be true. I'm not gonna sit here and lead this race for 40 minutes or whatever it's gonna be. There ain't no way. And sure as shit it did. And I got lucky that we got that second caution there because I absolutely lit the tires up on that first restart, and the 3 played nice with me. We got that other caution that saved me, and I was able to do the second restart a lot better. I did not. Big props to Maxwell. I did not think. I figured that was going to help him a lot. But at that point, I had probably 10, 15 laps on my tires. I didn't think he'd be able to get through all that. Thank him for driving through them guys. But we're coming to like 3 or 4 to go, and I look in the mirror, I was like, yeah, there ain't no way. And then we come to 2 to go, I'm like, oh no. And yeah, I'm just glad it ended when it did, because yeah, he'd had me. He did great. It was a great race. It's always him and I don't get to fight each other for wins as much as we'd like to, and it's always great when we do. Him and I have been racing together for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, that's always fun when you get to share that experience with your friends and our league mates even. And you got held up there a little bit by the 50 and the 41. So definitely some battling going on. 26 was trying to find their way through as well. But definitely gave you that small opportunity to walk away a winner here tonight. So like you said, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know how hard you had to work. It seemed like you were having a pretty easy time, so maybe the last 10 laps or so you had to put in some effort. But
yeah, it was a lot harder than most of the race.
it definitely looked good on the camera, on the screen, and out there, and just always a blast to see the 81 up there, no matter the paint scheme, the popcorn from last season, or the bargain Rocket League hack.net car.
It's a long time running joke. I had to make a paint scheme about it. It's kind of an inside joke.
It definitely looks good. So it's always good to see unique and original paint schemes on the track, as well as the throwbacks. But yeah, it's definitely great to hear your voice in the booth again, see you back up here. But you do go into a phase. You guys are getting a month off. I don't know if you all need a month off before and prepare mentally for Richmond. Richmond. I get it. I would need a whole month to prepare for a short track race too. But definitely going to be.
You still wouldn't show up. Yeah.
And then I probably wouldn't show up. I'd probably nap through it or something. But
back in the day, Richmond used to be my jam. But that was a long time ago. So
you get a whole month to plan for it. So. Again, we just want to say congratulations on the win here tonight. Top-notch performance by by yourself and everybody else behind you. So you get a little bit of bragging rights for at least a month. So you can rub that into your teammates.
I think it's the second time it's happened where I was a winner for a month, like F1 style.
So, but we want to say congratulations and give you a little bit of time for any shouts you may have it on 81, man.
Well, as always, shout out to you guys. Like I said, you're my favorite broadcasters. You guys do great work. Even not just the broadcasting, like the interleague thing you guys do, the races you put on, all that's great. So you guys shout out to you guys. You do a great job. My teammates, of course, Maxwell, for not ass blasting me there at the end, because he had every right to do it. Racing me clean. Todd Merkel, my buddy Kyle Ostler, he showed up and raced tonight. He's trying to get into the league racing, so he showed up tonight. Shout out to him. And Brandon Paul, he didn't run tonight. But shout out to my teammates, you guys, Tim for putting on a great league. It was good to finally get a normal VVR race tonight, where it was not a bunch of cautions and stuff like that. So yeah, everybody involved with this deal does great. It's good to be here. Yeah,
it's always a good hear. Like I said, always good to hear your shout outs. And yeah, you guys put on a fantastic race, and it's a shout out to everybody that's participates out here. 36 drivers on the field, and just even your first caution that came out. Some people tagged the wall, but everybody was able to hold on to it and keep this thing flowing green. So it was good to see and good to watch. It kept me and Carl pretty busy. Actually gave us some time to actually put you guys on the Love to Hear It for a while and kind of float around on the track and check out people's cars and see how everybody was doing. So, but again, congratulations. Go ahead.
Watching the broadcast, rewatching. I always usually rewatch it the day after. So
definitely appreciate it. So, but either way, again, congratulations, man. And we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Awesome. Looking forward to, hopefully I'll be talking to you guys more soon here. Thanks again. You guys do a great job. Like I said, appreciate you.
All right, Andrew. We'll talk to you later.
Take it easy.
That is your winner here tonight, the 81 of Andrew Pilecki, getting it done. 4 races, 4 different winners here for VVR, as Andrew Pilecki came in tied for 5th in the points, but this could certainly vault him up the standings, maybe up to the top spot. We'll see how everything shakes out, and we got a little bit of time to figure it out and figure out who's going to be on top of the standings. But it's been a good first 4 races of the season, and I expect nothing less from these guys at VVR. They always put on a good show. There's a ton of talent, like some of these drivers have already said. I definitely got to echo them and say how much talent is in these races. And there's guys that are finishing 15th on back that could legit win in some other leagues that they just have that much talent. But there's so many good guys out here that it's tough. You see Dalton Kilroe last season was a dominant force, and he's yet to crack the win column here through 4 races. I know it's early in the season. We've seen glimpses of him here, but you can kind of say the same thing like we did about Andrew Pilecki. He had some wins last season, and it took him a little bit here, but he's now cracked through and got himself into the win column. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Once again, if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that Siren has to offer. Want to thank our series sponsors here, being Gold Line Guardians, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs. And of course, thank Tim Lee for putting on this great league and bringing us on board along the way. But for myself and Jimmy here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.